Hello everyone, this is NS, that's right, Naruto StarCraft, and today I have part 2 of this game being played between LiquidTLO and his opponent is WhiteRa, and I do have game number 1 on my channel already, so if you have not watched that, please do go and check it out. It was a very good game, and here we have game 2 from the best of 3 qualifier at the Intel Extreme Masters. So with that being said, now last game TLO came up with a pretty good strategy. I don't think most people would have seen that coming, and yeah, again, if you haven't watched that replay, go and check it out. It is worth the watch, and this is game 2 being played on this very cool map. And the reason why I like this map is, well, basically because of this hidden expansion at the back of your base. I mean, you kill these rocks and you pretty much, got yourself a backdoor expansion. Now all you gotta do is just make sure that you don't get harassed from this area on these cliffs. And yeah, it's the same thing on this side. As you guys can see, the cliffs are here. But yeah, overall it is a pretty safe investment to go and get that area, because it is quite protected, my friends. And well, a lot of players like getting this natural expansion because, well, you don't have to kill the rocks, right? So, but yeah, this is always a good option to have. I mean, you could have 3 bases in a very small area. If you pay attention to the mini-map, you could have 3 bases in a very small area, which is very easy to defend. So if you do play on this map, I do recommend getting that expansion as well. But yeah, looking about the game, so far income's quite similar. LiquidTLO so far, well, it seems like he's a little bit behind, but it doesn't matter at this point, man. It is way too early for that. Looking at the production tab, the first Marine is being trained right now, and WhiteRa discovered this whole area. And let's see if LiquidTLO has found where WhiteRa is. As you guys see right here, he is still scouting with his SCV, so right now he's going to discover that this area is empty, so he's gonna know that WhiteRa is down here. Here we have WhiteRa. He's already chrono boosted the first zealot, and the first zealot ready to give his life for hire. He is on the way to WhiteRa's base, and let's see what he is going to be able to do. Now LiquidTLO is throwing down the tech lab on this barracks. I think he is going to go for the same build as he did last game, the Banshee play. And what can I say, my friends? Banshee play is quite sexy, and it is quite an unforeseen strategy. And I'm assuming it would work on a lot of people, because even when I played on the ladder, I used it a bunch of times just to see if it worked, and it really did. The cheese build, I don't know if you want to call it cheese build, but yeah, it does work. Most opponents, if they don't scout you properly and build a counter unit to it, they will not stand to it, they will fall. But here we have the first 2 zealots of the game trying to run in. The Marauder pops out just in time to push back the zealots. The zealots are going in, try to do some killing, but look at LiquidTLO's micro. It is splitting up these zealots. This zealot going to kill that Marine? Oh yes, it is. The other zealot trying to make it to the worker line, trying to do some damage to the economy of LiquidTLO, and so far the workers are revolting and fighting back, and I do believe that zealot is going to fall and die. Here we have Stalkers trying to back up those 2 zealots, but as you guys see right here, my friends, the Marauder is pushing back the zealot, and the zealot runs away home. Now here we have WhiteRa going for a 2-gate fast robotics facility, and the robotics facility, as always, will indicate observers first, primarily observers, but secondly, it will get immortals and perhaps some colossus, so those may play a factor into this game. The army size right now is quite similar to one another, as it is the early stages of the game. Looking at the harvester tab, incomes identical in all aspects, with the exception that WhiteRa has 2 more workers, but it's okay because LiquidTLO has the mules, and it will make up for it over time. Now it does look like LiquidTLO is going for the same build as last game, the dual StarTech, dual barracks, and a single factory. And the factory, keep in mind, it is used a lot of times to put up these tech labs for the start port. So if you are a new player, and remember, that is an option that you could always exercise. You could lift up your buildings and switch their add-ons around to see fit, and based on what kind of build you are going to get. Now here we have Warp Prism actually being deployed. Now Warp Prism playstyle is quite sexy. is quite a good strategy, because basically anywhere the Warp Prism goes, like let's say your Warp Prism comes here, or here for example, right? You can warp in units, and it's basically like a Nidus network of the Zerg without having to build a Nidus network, or without having to build a building rather. But yeah, here we have the Warp Prism. Oh, it actually loaded up a bunch of barracks. Looks like barracks. No, the Warp Prism did not load up 4 barracks. It loaded up 4 zealots, and zealots are going to prove what they're worth. Because remember you guys how I feel about zealots, gangsters, and let's see if they can prove themselves in their line of duty. So here we go. They are going to be dropped on the workers. They are trying to do some damage. Let's look at the harvester count to see how many workers do go down. I don't think so far any have gone down, but here we have the units of TLO, the Marines and the Hellions coming in. WhiteRa, aka WhiteRa, realizes there may be too many, so he does back away temporarily. Now, what is he doing so far? He is destroying the destructible rocks in that area, so he may expand into that expansion area. And what can I say, my friends? That is a very good area to expand to, because it is quite safe. Income tabs still showing quite the similarity. And look at this, LiquidTLO is even getting the supply drop, which basically you can use from your command center, and it will call down an additional 8 supply. So yeah, if you're ever stuck in a bind and you need supply right away, remember as a Terran player that is an option you can explore. So here we have LiquidTLO trying to do a little bit of harass with that Hellion, but as you guys see, the ramp is blocked with a bunch of units, and they would have easily taken care of that Hellion. Now here we have the starport going down, and I'm assuming because WhiteRa may notice that this build is coming again, so he may want to get some Phoenixes. But either way, it looks like the first battle is about to begin. Here we have a drop, the Zealots dropping in. They're trying to kill workers, but I do believe they were handled accordingly. So yeah, it does look like it's safe. Now here we have the combat beginning. The Stalkers are doing quite a little bit of damage to the Banshees. The Banshees try to reposition themselves to get in a better position, but look at this. It does look like that WhiteRa so far is going to be able to hold his own ground and repel this initial attack. And look at that, a couple of these units, they get stuck behind that force field, and I do believe he is going to die. And that is a dirty death animation, lots of blood. So yeah, here we have WhiteRa, still WhiteRa, yeah. Look at this, actually, right here. He did morph in more zealots with his Warp Prism, and the Warp Prism, he's continuing to warp in more, but I would have started moving this Warp Prism. Sorry, my throat hurts a little bit. But yeah, here we have the Stalkers doing a little bit of harass at the front gates of LiquidTLO. LiquidTLO backing them, forcing the Stalkers to go back. And he is doing quite well for himself so far against WhiteRa's push. And let's look at his army composition here. He has started to produce what is this unit? I always forget. Vikings. And just in case for the anti-air, because he possibly saw those 2 Stargates being built. Here we have WhiteRa's army losing this little battle, and they are being forced to back away. And as you guys see right here, there's 4 Banshees in this area, as well as a Viking and a bunch of support from the ground units. So they are going to meet up, and there we go. There's the Phoenixes that were being popped, and the Phoenixes are actually doing quite a lot of damage to the Banshees. The Banshees going down slowly, and the Zealots look like they are going to be able to handle these Marines. As do not forget, those Marines are still pretty much basic Marines. They don't even have their combat shield or stim packs upgraded, nor do they have medevac supporting them. So I think that's a part of LiquidTLO's build. The double starport, double barracks, and a single factory to start with. And then, as you guys can see here, he is building more barracks, as WhiteRa does have 4 gateways, and 3 gateways, and 1 being built right now, warped in right now. So yeah, he has to compete with WhiteRa's producing ability, and I think he is doing just that. And LiquidTLO also going for his own expansion. Now let's see if he gets it in this area, or like WhiteRa, he is going to get it in that area. Looking at the army sizes, WhiteRa is ahead, by a considerable amount. It would have been a good time for him to make a push if he did a little bit earlier, but yeah, right now LiquidTLO is starting to mass his units again, so this gap, as you guys know, as you guys can see right now, is slowly starting to close down. Now looking at the production tab, WhiteRa has built Immortals, and don't forget that Immortals are like the hard counter to any Marauders on the field, because they just do so much damage to Marauders. Here we have another drop courtesy of this War Prism, but it was a small drop, only 2 Zealots, as they were trying to kill this refinery. It does look like that they will be unsuccessful, as the forces of LiquidTLO has come to the rescue of the workers and of that refinery. So far the refinery will stay up for the time being. Here we have WhiteRa. He is you know, quite the good saturation of this area. He's got 18 workers there, so you know, it's all good. Now he is putting down more gateways, because you know, as soon as you get your first expansion, you always want to, you know, basically double up your production facilities, give or take. And as you guys see right here, LiquidTLO is going for his own expansion, and it has landed now, and he is going to begin harvesting. So looking at the income tab, let me look at the income tab again. See, we have LiquidTLO quite ahead, a lot, 1,000 ahead almost, which is quite the alarming number. LiquidTLO has to start, you know, taking that into consideration as he continues sticking with his build. But I do believe that he is going to be able to do alright, because there's not a lot of anti-air units in this area, so the Banshees are quite safe. And we even have Vikings to push back with the Phoenixes. So here we go. The Phoenix come in, try to take out the Vikings, but the Vikings against Phoenixes, man, is not going to be good for the Phoenixes. The Banshees doing a lot of damage to the ground units. The Stalkers are beginning, the numbers are beginning to dwindle, and they do all go down. And look at this, LiquidTLO is actually in a very good position right now, despite the income discrepancy. Despite him having a lot less income, he has spent his money on a lot of military forces, because don't forget, guys, all these buildings do cost money, and if your opponent does a timing push against you, like LiquidTLO is doing against WhiteRa right now, you could be in a lot of danger, and that is exactly what WhiteRa is in right now, a lot of danger, because he has all the buildings, but he just doesn't have the production, well, the money rather, to make use of all those buildings, because LiquidTLO is basically pushing him around. LiquidTLO isn't allowing WhiteRa to fully saturize everything and start mass producing. Now LiquidTLO, as you guys see on the production tab, he is producing more of the same units and sending them to this area. There comes out the Colossus and instantly gets killed by these 3 Vikings. And WhiteRa is actually not giving up, because he doesn't want to give up this Masters qualifying games, and so far he has dropped 1, and in the second game, which is now, it does look like that he may be in quite a bit of danger, as he's trying desperately to fight back against LiquidTLO, the German mastermind who always comes up with creative play. And that's why he is this commentator's favorite player to cast. And look at this, the Banshees doing quite a lot of damage still. This would indicate that getting these builds is a very good idea, because your opponents basically don't have too many anti-air units, and even if they do, LiquidTLO planned it masterfully, because the Banshees are actually very good against ground units, as you guys have been able to observe throughout this video. And look at that, still just continuing with Marines. The Marines do, you know, Marines are Marines, my friends. They're always a good, steady base unit to have, because of their ability to attack ground and air. And as you can see, they do complement this Banshee army quite beautifully, as LiquidTLO is continuing to produce more and more units and sending them to WhiteRa's base. And look at that. With the destruction of that pylon, these buildings have become unable to produce any new units, as they are unpowered, and you know, unpowered buildings for the Protoss cannot produce units. Here we have LiquidTLO. You guys see on the minimap, he is sending more and more over to this area, and he is going after the second expansion of WhiteRa. Here we have a small group of Stalkers trying to make a difference, trying to get rid of these few Marines, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen, as there is way too many of LiquidTLO's forces. The workers are forced to fight, but as you guys see right here in this small area, it is too little too late, as the JJ has been tossed by WhiteRa. So yeah, it looks like that WhiteRa will be stopped at the qualifying stages in the Intel Extreme in Cologne, Germany. And what can I say, my friend? TLO doing the home crowd a big favor and winning this series against